Morning, guys. Welcome to the last Business 101 of 2020. So just running through a couple of things. We're going to have a bit of a different presentation today, more about looking back at the year of 2020. In January, we instituted Government Gazette monitoring, where we have a dedicated person who is looking at all the government gazettes that are published, both local, provincial, municipal, and national. We also introduced a discount offering from Builders Warehouse in January. And then in February, we introduced the Standards Development Department, which is a dedicated team of people that are looking at the standards and seeing how we can improve them and how we can make them better for the plumbers specifically. We also in February started development on a 5-year industry strategy together with many partners, including the seaters, colleges, and other role players in the industry. And believe it or not, we introduced the Business 101 webinars in February. It's hard to believe that we've only been doing this for 10 months, but I certainly think it's been a success, and hopefully in 2021 we'll kick off with some even more interesting Business 101 webinars. Moving into March, we had obviously the lockdown, which took us all quite by surprise with our pants around our ankles. And we had to run around a lot to try and see how we could help the plumbers and how we could best work through the pandemic. We also, during March, started interacting with NAMA, the National Association of Managing Agents, as well as Harambee and Prawa, the roofing and waterproofing guys. And the CPD committee was established. During April, we spent a lot of time in terms of providing support to the plumbing industry. We had several expert people on webinars to educate everybody about COVID and the best ways of handling it. We put out loads of documents and support in terms of completing permits. And I'm sure all of us remember that was a very, very difficult time. And we had to change tack a number of times as government changed their minds about how things should be handled. We also started working on the Plumber Support Fund, which, as you can see, we paid out about 300,000 Rand to needy plumbers in May. And then we also provided the industry protocols for COVID-19 to the Department of Health. Then in June, we were able to reopen the office with a skeleton staff. And we also then started with the Women in Plumbing initiative, which is gaining very good traction. And I think it's going to be a very big success story for our industry. We should have had elections in March, and obviously due to COVID, that was impossible. So in June, we were able to hold the elections finally. And the new president, Mr. Adrian Marburg, who I'm sure you're all quite familiar with, was elected, as well as Mr. Selo Mokowana as the vice, and Mark Pratt remained as the treasurer for another term. Moving into July, we started discussions with Empower BE as a consultant to assist the plumbing industries and specifically you guys in terms of understanding the BEE requirements in South Africa and finding the best ways of navigating through BEE. We also introduced Connected, and I hope all of you have had a look at what Connected is offering, and it's a way of generating more business for yourselves. If you haven't, please go and have a look at it. I think it's really worthwhile. In August, we identified, in fact, in July, we identified the need for technical schools to be assisted in terms of the plumbing curriculum. And in August, we met with the Department of Basic Education and some key role players. And we kicked off the schools project together with PIRB in terms of helping to develop and improve both the curriculum and teaching in the technical schools. I think this also is going to be a really useful project that's going to bear a lot of good fruits. We finished the 5-year strategy, and then we introduced podcasting again together with PIRB. We introduced podcasting, which initially I didn't really understand. I'm a little bit of an old fart when it comes to all these new things, and I didn't really understand it. But I must be honest that it's been a huge success, and I hope that some of you guys or all of you guys are listening to some of these podcasts because they're really quite interesting. We also concluded some negotiations with the LP Gas Association. It didn't go quite as well as we'd hoped, but something definitely I think that all plumbers in South Africa need to be looking at is their gas qualifications. Gas is becoming a much bigger factor in South Africa. It never really was a big thing, but now it's becoming quite an important factor in South Africa. And I think as we go forward, gas is going to grow and grow, and it's going to remain a very big opportunity for plumbers in South Africa. We also launched the e-learning platform. I will touch on this a little bit more again, but guys, I hope everybody has registered on the e-learning platform. As I'm sure you're all aware by now, we have purchased our own e-learning platform, including webinars and learner management system. And from next year, we are going to be, all these webinars are going to be hosted on the e-learning platform. So it really is very important that all of you are registered on the e-learning platform. Even if you are already registered for these webinars, you need to be registered on the e-learning platform because from next year, it's going to be all on that e-learning platform. Still completely free, but you do need to re-register, unfortunately. So please, please, guys, make sure that you do that. In September, we had a very interesting, we started a very interesting discussion with the Department of Trade and Industry, and that is regarding water in buildings. As all of you are, I'm sure, aware that in the National Building Regulations, there's no talk whatsoever about water in buildings. It's very clear in terms of drainage and the sewer side of things, but it really doesn't speak at all about water in the buildings. And that's a very important factor that we've started having discussions with the Department of Trade and Industry, and they definitely seem to be very keen to work with us in terms of getting water into the building standards so that we can protect our natural resources. In October, we started implementing the 5-year industry strategy, and early next year we will be spending a lot of time going through the strategy with you guys so that you have a full understanding of what the industry hopes to achieve and where the industry is moving to. There'll also be some features in Plumbing Africa, and we'll be doing some internet posts and webinars and that sort of thing. Also in October, we started with GIZ on the COVID-19 support training, and that was to assist our staff and uplift and upgrade our staff in order to better offer support to the members in terms of COVID-19. Sorry, my presentation just stopped working there for a second. November, we started discussions with CRDB. There's some new management in place at the CRDB, and as those of you who are involved in government contracting will know, the grading system within CRDB has certain challenges, and we obviously were hoping, or we are hoping, that we're able to work very closely with the CRDB in terms of improving the way that they rate companies and how they go about things. Just for those who don't know, CRDB is the Construction Industry Development Board, and one must be registered with them in order to participate in any sort of government contracts or tenders and that sort of thing. We also started discussions with the Housing Development Agency, and they are extremely interested in bringing in the COC and the use of licensed plumbers in terms of specifically low-cost housing and RDP type housing, because they've experienced massive problems within that space, and there's a large component of non-compliant materials, non-compliant installations, which are leading to damages to these properties, which obviously is not working well. We have spoken to government about this for many years, but at least now they're very interested and very keen to talk to us and to participate. We've also become part of the Department of Trade and Industry's localization project, which is a fancy way of saying the Buy Local campaign. And there's a lot of benefits and things that come with buying local products and supporting local industry. So it's something that I personally am very, very passionate about, and I think it's a really important thing for us as South Africans, not just as an industry, but us as South Africans to participate. We also participated in the Women in Construction Summit last month, which was very successful, and there's a very big drive to ensure that that there is greater participation in the industry for women. And I think what's important to understand here, guys, is that the more we introduce more people into our industry, the more our industry grows. And up until present, 50% of our population being women has been virtually excluded from the construction sector. So it's important that we have a look at how we introduce construction to women and how they can play a meaningful role in our industry. Very exciting development has been the Central Energy Fund. The Central Energy Fund is rolling out a new solar water heating campaign. There will be around about 87,000 solar water heaters installed throughout the country. Excuse me. And as we know from previous projects of this nature, there were huge problems. And the simple fact of the matter is that they've recognized the fact that they weren't using properly trained and qualified plumbers and solar water heater installers. And that led to massive problems. They were raked over the coals in the media. They had product failures. They had people injured. They had structures damaged, and they don't want a repeat of that. They recognize that they need to be using properly qualified professionals, and so they have started engaging with us in regards to how to best roll out this program. Here I must say a big thank you to Marius down in the Southern Cape, who's been instrumental in bringing this to the fore and bringing it to our attention. So the greatest thing that I think we've achieved so far is that they have recognized that they must be using qualified licensed plumbers in the installation of these projects, and solar qualified plumbers, as well as issuing a COC, and we're working very closely with them in terms of quality assurance and then in terms of the audits. The Department of Water and Sanitation have also opened the doors to us, and we have been having a discussion with the Deputy Director General on a number of issues, but basically the biggest thing is that we've managed to show to them is that the unqualified plumbers working in the industry are through their incorrect installations and poor material choice or non-compliant material choice are actually leading to damage of the municipal and national infrastructure. So if you think about people connecting rainwater into sewer systems and things like that, just ultimately leads to damage of the infrastructure. So some very, very important and interesting discussions are underway with the Department of Water and Sanitation, and I do believe that we're going to see some changes in the not too distant future where they really will be pushing the fact that only qualified plumbers need to be doing certain parts of the work. I'm very pleased to tell you that a couple of weeks ago, we actually joined the Proudly South African campaign. We are now a member of Proudly South African, And you'll see that we'll start using the Proudly South African logo. And obviously, as an industry, we're very much in support of South Africa and South African industry. And you're going to see us pushing that quite a lot more in the weeks to come. Looking ahead to 2021, as I've mentioned, the e-learning platform is going to become the place for you to go to. So please head over to the IOPSA website, click on the training tab, and you'll see the e-learning platform. If you're not sure where it is, please give our office a call and they'll assist you. But guys, go and have a look at the e-learning platform and please register there because the webinars are moving early next year. In terms of Master Plumber, unfortunately, we had big hopes to launch Master Plumber in 2020, but there was a little matter of COVID-19 that messed up our plans a bit. So we'll be picking that up early next year and working hard on it. I've had a number of plumbers contacting me, a lot of interest in Master Plumber. So we will be pushing it quite hard. Unfortunately, COVID did completely mess us around and we had to push a pause button on it. I've been promising this for some time and I must be honest, it's been really difficult sourcing funding. But RPL, the recognition of prior learning, that is for individuals that have been working in the industry for a very long time and for whatever reasons have been unable to qualify. A way for their learning to be recognized and for them actually to qualify properly as plumbers. We finally have been able to source some funding. PIRB, Nedbank, Harambee, and GIZ have come to the party. I know it says EWC there, but I don't know if I don't know what's happening there. I think that might not happen, but we're hoping next year to at the very minimum, be able to provide bursaries for 100 people to follow this process. So if you've got candidates, if you've got people in your employ, or maybe yourself, you might not even might not be qualified yet, please get hold of our training department and make sure that that the names and CVs get onto the list so that we can early next year we can start putting people on this program in order to get a lot of these guys qualified. Similar to the projects that we're currently running already with the apprenticeship programs that we're currently running with the Department of Higher Education and with Nedbank and GIZ and others, we're introducing a new apprenticeship program next year, which will see 100 young people going through a full apprenticeship program through an organization called Blue Lever, which maybe some of you know. It's quite a new college, and we certainly hope that we can rely on our members to take some of these youngsters. They again, as per normal, are funded. So to take these youngsters into their companies so that they can learn how to become proper plumbers through a proper apprenticeship. We're also looking at some at expanded business support. We've noticed that there's a real need out there for business acumen and for business skills within the industry. If you look back at the action coach presentation that was done last week, you'll note that less than a third of the attendees had a business plan and or a budget for the year. And that just reinforced to us that we need to assist the plumbers and assist specifically IOPSA members in developing business acumen and teaching them how they're able to grow their businesses better and more sustainably. The Technical Advisory Committee, or commonly known as TAC, has always resided within PIRB, but the PIRB has determined that they would like more industry participation and they would like the input of more of the industry. So they have, in discussions with us at IOPSA, decided that the Technical Advisory Committee is going to move within the IOPSA structure to allow for more participation and more debate. And I think this is a very positive move. So we're busy at the moment scoping out how this is going to work and how we're going to put it together. So early next year, again, I think we will see the Technical Advisory Committee. May have a different name then, we're not sure yet, but it will be moving to IOPSA, and I think we'll get much better industry participation in dealing with some of the burning issues that sometimes are not addressed in the standards or where there's confusion in the standards. Speaking about the standards, there are still quite a number of inconsistencies and conflicts within the standards. There's also a number of standards that haven't kept up with the times and with technology and changes in the industry. And that standards development team that we spoke about, together with the Technical Advisory Committee, is going to be working really, really hard next year in order to resolve a number of these inconsistencies and conflicts in the standard, so that we have a clear set of guidelines, and you guys as the plumbers have a clear set of guidelines on what is the right way to do things and what you should steer away from. As I mentioned, the Buy Local campaign, which is a big passion of mine now. Now, really, guys, I have spoken about this before, but if we look at our industry and we start to ask ourselves a question about how do we grow our industry more? How do we grow the plumbing industries to make the market bigger and make it more viable for you guys as business owners? And we start to think about that. The only real mechanism is for us to generate more jobs in South Africa. Now, how do we do that? It seems like an impossible problem, but it's not really. If you think about it logically, every time one of us buys a South African made or a South African produced product, we're creating jobs in the industry. Those people who have jobs are then able to purchase homes or rent homes. And what will they need? They'll need plumbers. They need water. They need sanitation. They need hot water. So these people will start using the services of a plumber. It really is that simple. It sounds so simplistic, but it is really that simple. The fact is that people without jobs generally are not able to afford a plumber, and therefore are not calling a plumber to fix their plumbing, or to upgrade their bathrooms, or to build a new house, or to build onto a house. That is the fact. We need to look internally. We need to say to ourselves, how do we change the situation in South Africa? And the bottom line is, we simply need to make the decision to buy local products, and that in itself will create jobs within South Africa. And obviously it will save South Africa, because right now South Africa is in a difficult situation like a lot of the world, but we came off a much lower base than places like America or the UK or other parts of the world, or China. So we've got a long way to go to get back just to where we were. So guys, I can't emphasize this anymore. Please, during Christmas and over the holidays, give a thought to what products you're buying, and try and shift it to local. I'm not only talking about the plumbing material you're using, although that's very important, but also think about the corporate clothing that you give your guys, the overalls, the PPE, the vehicles that you buy, the tires that you buy, the stationery and the products in your business that you buy. Every time we buy local, we create jobs, which will create more work for us as plumbers in the industry. Well, guys, I think it's a bit of a shorter presentation than normal. It's a little bit different than normal, but that's the end of my story. I really would like to thank each and every one of you for your support during 2020. It's been a really difficult year, and without everybody, all the plumbers sticking together, banding together, working together, we wouldn't have got through this as well as we have. Please be safe. Remember to wear your mask. COVID numbers are increasing, so please stay safe. And if you're traveling anywhere, please do so carefully. We hope to see you all in 2021. Thank you all and have a great break. Goodbye.